Hey, good morning guys, Tush here from the Tush Mahal. Saturday morning, nice morning actually. Sun's out, still a little cool. I think it's about, well, let's go in the garage and see what temperature it is. 14 degrees Celsius today, so that's not too bad. So what I'm going to be doing today is working on the TR6. I've been sort of neglecting it. Well, I've been working on the TR3 project. I haven't been driving the 6 at all. Been trying to get the 3 on the road this summer, so that means not driving the other 2 cars as much. So as you can see, I've got the fenders done, or the inner fenders done, with the undercoating now on all 4 fenders, which is good to get that out of the way. The bottom of the car is painted. I still have to put some stuff here to close this panel in. I've got the repair pieces over here, so that'll go on basically. Sorry about the camera. That'll go something like that when that's done. You can see that. So I've left the undercoating off where I need to weld that piece in. So I'll have to grind that a little bit, but so that's coming along. So once I get that done, the only piece I have left to weld is this bottom of this B-post. You have to remove to change the inner sill out. So I'll work on that, and you can see I've actually sort of taped off where the undercoating stops. I'm going to cut that piece out actually and get a new piece in there. It's all pop riveted on the inside, so I'm going to get that out of there, and then I'll spot weld it back together to that end of the inner sill. So that's coming along. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with it and the way it's coming along. So anyway, back to the TR6. So I've got a lot of projects to do on it today, and maybe I'll take a few short videos along the way. I made myself a list for this morning. It's about 9:30 in the morning, and hopefully I'll be able to get this done. I don't know if you can read that or not. So tires balanced, I'm going to change the engine oil, change the gearbox oil, check the diff oil. I'm going to check grease the ball joints and U-joints. I'm going to check the wheel bearings and maybe grease those. I'm going to check the torque on the hub, nylock nuts. It's 14 to 16 pounds torque on that. I just want to make sure that they're torqued up properly and not backed off. It's obviously very important for these cars. You don't want your wheel separating. I'm going to do the valve lash, and I'm going to try to fit this exhaust mount. This is for a J-type overdrive. It hangs off the overdrive unit. So I'm going to try to fit this. I've never had it actually on the car. It wasn't on the car when I got it. But the pipes rattle actually on the t-shirt section in the frame. So I'm going to try to fit that hanger and maybe get them sitting up a little bit better. So I was out early this morning, probably around 6:30 or so, trying not to make any noise, but I dragged that bunk in from the, I don't know if you can see that, dragged the bunk in from the backyard where I had it, and just to get the body up over the chassis to get it out of the way so I can pull the car in and get it up on jack stands and work comfortably around it. So that's what the plan is. I'm going to bring the car in, get it up on stands. Maybe I'll take another video when I get it up on stands and get the wheels removed. I want to get those off to the balancing shop that opens at 10. So I'll leave those there and come back and then pick them up later in the afternoon. So that's the plan, and we'll get back to you later. Bye. So lots of different ways to do this, obviously, but what I prefer to do when I'm putting the car up on jack stands is I actually like to drive it up on ramps. I've got some Rhino ramps, so I usually put it up on ramps in the front, make sure the emergency brake's on and it's in gear. And then what I usually do is I've got 2 light floor jacks, and what I usually do is I position one on each side, and I jack up a little on each side at the same time to make it nice and level before I put the stands in. So generally, just wanted to show you how I do it, and I'll show you where I position the stands. just a quick shot on how I position the two jacks, floor jacks on either side, and pump them one side a little bit, and then go to the other side so it's going up fairly level. And I usually just position the floor jacks just behind the tire, and I'm going to put the stands just probably in front of the tire. All right, we'll come back to it. I had to go get the big boy. There we go. One down. So generally when I'm putting my axe stands in, I've got just a short one in at the moment. It's a 2-ton stand. Normally when I go higher, you'll see later I'll use a bit of a bigger stand. But initially I'll use the low stands, and I just usually put it right below, see where the bump stop is. I just put it in the frame area, right between the bump stop. There's actually a notch there that's created by the bracket for the bump stop. That's generally where I position my stands. Alright, hopefully you can see that. Okay, I've got the rear stands in, and I swapped out to the larger stands. So I've got the 3.5-ton stands in there now, so you can see where I've put them. So I've got to do a little cleaning under there. Pretty dirty from a lot of driving in the rain. So onto the front, you can see the car's not level, and it's got to be level if you're changing or checking the transmission fluid. So I'm going to jack the front up, and I'm going to put the front up on stands as well. I just need it to be higher so I can get under the car. Like I said, I'm a bit of a wide body, so I got to do that now. So on to jacking up the front. So again, don't know if you can see this really well, but generally that's where I position my front stand. You can see it in relation to the tire. Alright. Okay, car's up on stands. Tires are off. So it's nice and level. You'll notice that I keep the one floor jack as a safety in the back. I don't know if you can see this in the garage or not, but I also keep the ramps there if the tires are on, but I also keep a jack at the front under the cross member as well, just for safety. And sometimes I'll actually throw another couple stands in the middle of the car. I think I'm okay though with the two other. I may throw a couple other stands in there just to be safe. Better be safe than sorry. So off to the balancing shop. Gonna load the old truck up, and we're down the road. So I'll catch up with you later. Okay, just a quick update. 1:45. Making pretty good progress. Back from the tire shop. Wheels are pretty out of balance. They needed a lot of weight in them. They're cheap rims. They're Koenig rims. I don't think they're as good as something like a Panasport, and I think it shows it over a period of time. They seem to take quite a bit of weight to get them balanced. One of them originally, when it was new, didn't balance very well either. So, but anyway, they were only $120 a rim, so I guess that's what to expect. Anyway, the diff oil is done. The tranny oil is done. I put 30 weight non-detergent in the overdrive, and I'm just filling up the engine with the VR1 2050. And then I try to get that exhaust bracket on, this thing we were talking about earlier, but you know what, it's not going to work. It's too tight to get basically a nut and bolt on this fastener through the mount. It needed to really be done when the car was being assembled. So that's going to stay off the car until the next time I do a frame-off restoration. It's not really required, it just helps to keep the pipes off the T-shirt section a little bit bit more. I have more problems with my pipes fouling on my sway bar at the rear than I do actually in the car. So anyway, next on the list, I'm going to give this a bit of a clean down. I'm going to check those rear hubs real quick while I'm here. Lube everything up, ball joints, tie rods, drive shaft, and then I'm going to button her up and go for a spin. Talk to you later. So as I mentioned, after my trip to the wheel shop to get the wheels balanced, I'm surprised at the amount of weight actually these rims have taken. They've been on the car for about 4.5 years, and they probably have about, I don't know, 25,000 miles on them. So obviously they've taken some abuse. They weren't. There's maybe a couple weights on them when I took them in. So you can see that's a big chunk of weight there, and a big chunk of weight there. That's the front right, left rear, chunk of weight there, chunk of weight there. I guess that's not too bad. Right rear, and a big chunk of weight here, and a big chunk there. So that used to be the worst one on the car before, so it's still holding its own. Followed closely by the front right, which is really surprising. It must have taken a pretty good pothole there. And then the front left is, you got a little weight here, a little weight there, and a little weight here. So anyway, so obviously we're out of balance, and that's why I took them in. And I was on a pretty long run last year, at the end of the year, and once I got on the highway, I knew they were pretty out of balance. So that was one of the first things I wanted to do before I went on a trip this year. So hopefully they'll be a little bit better. Anyway, that's it for now. Okay, it's 2:45, sort of on the home stretch. I'm just going to do the valves. So that's the task at hand. So a couple different ways to do it. Usually I double sort of check. Actually have the valve rocker adjustment diagram or guide on my wall in the garage. So this is slightly different than what the Haynes or Bentley shows. So normally what I'll do is I'll do both. Actually, I'll use the one method to set and one method to check, and that generally seems to be the best way to go. Anyway, I'll get to it. Talk to you later. Okay, I think we're done for the day. She's all shined up. Got the top down. This probably is going to rain now. Getting a little gray out. Anyway, I gave her a good wash. So I've got a trip to Niagara Falls tomorrow with 13 other cars. It's about 2 hours in Niagara Falls, 2 hours back, probably an hour driving in between, so I'm going to be driving her for about 5 hours tomorrow. So anyway, I got her cleaned up, got the top down. Hopefully it's not too cold tomorrow morning. Got to leave the house tomorrow at 8:30. So it'll probably be a little chilly, so I'll have to bundle up in the morning. But she's still looking okay. Yeah. Restoration's almost 5 years ago now. Probably got about 30,000 miles on it. So it's showing a little bit of wear and tear. But I look after it best I can. Anyway, I did take her out for a spin. The balanced tires make a big difference. So I'm quite happy with having spent $50 to get that done. So I will try to take some video tomorrow. I know there's a Stag going, there's a couple Spits. I know there's a TR8 going, a bunch of 6s. I think there's probably a 250 as well. We'll have to see who shows up tomorrow. And hopefully it's a nice day tomorrow. It's supposed to be sunny. Hopefully they haven't changed the forecast. Anyway, so that's it. So I'm gonna go in and make some dinner. Talk to you later.